I'd like to take a moment to thank my channel members. Thank you. It's continued support like yours that keeps this channel growing. And if you haven't already, please consider joining today. Welcome, I'm Bert The Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be looking at something a little different. This is a 3D printed model that I just finished putting together myself of VOLTES 5, and I love this toy. And yes, this is a toy. I just spent the better part of the last 2 weeks printing this guy. I got a 3D printer for Christmas, and I have been going crazy just learning all about 3D printing and how that works, and just really enjoying this new hobby. I found this model. My friend Fire Talks, of course you guys are all familiar with Fire Talks, he pointed me in the direction of this page called ToyMakr3D, and I'll put a link to them down in the description below. ToyMakr3D has these models available. Some are free, some are purchased. This one was absolutely free. You can actually go on the website and download this model for free. Slice it up, print it up, and you're all ready to go. So this is an absolutely stunning, beautifully detailed model of VOLTES 5 as we saw him in that original anime series. Now, all of the parts print in their respective colors, so you don't have to do any painting unless you want to. And all I did was just some minimal detail working. I did the red dots on the forehead and the white line on the helmet. Other than that, I haven't done any painting to this. And he is completely articulated, and he stands at approximately 14 inches tall. So he's absolutely massive. Now, this particular model is just the articulated robot. This does not come apart or separate and transform into the 5 different vehicles. There are other 3D models that do that. I may try printing one of those in the future, but kind of still learning my way into this. I started with just a model that was going to be just the articulated figure. Going all the way around, like I said, he stands approximately 14 inches tall. He's kind of hard to shoot because of how tall he is. Just kind of going all the way around. He looks absolutely stunning. All of the detail is there from the completed robot. This guy is absolutely beautiful. For a size comparison, here he is next to a G1 Optimus Prime. So you can really take in the size of this guy. It's absolutely massive, and he looks fantastic with my other Shoguns. A little bit more about the articulation. So the head can turn side to side, and it goes up and down. It is on a ball joint. The shoulders can rotate forward and backwards all the way around, and they can go in and out a little bit. They can rotate at the elbow. There is a double hinge, rotation at the bicep, and a double hinge at the elbow. The hands, you've got a couple of options of hands. So the hands can rotate at the wrist right here, and they can also go in and out. Now, these hands, these are the standard hands here. I have a left and a right, and the hands are also individually articulated. So again, you can see that the hand can go in and out, And then you got the thumb, which is ball jointed at the base and then hinged right there in the middle. Same thing with the index finger. It's actually a hinge at the base and a hinge at the center. And then the other 3 fingers are hinged at the base and hinged at the center. Some of the moving parts do tend to get a little loose. I've been playing with putting some clear nail polish on these to kind of keep them a little tighter. Now, there's also a weapon that you can print for these guys. So you'll notice that there's a slot right in there. So this uses kind of the Masterpiece style of tabbing in the weapon into the hand. And now the weapon is a little heavy and the tab is a little loose. So again, you'd have to tighten that up with some clear nail polish. However, there are options for printing hands. So there are different hands that you can print. And I chose to print a closed right fist for him, which also rotates at the wrist. But this one is just closed with the slot right there for the sword to go in, so he can hold his sword that way. So that's just the way I'm displaying him. This hand right here is kind of part of the standard print, so you end up printing this hand anyway. If you want to tighten it up, that's great, but I went ahead and opted for the optional hand right there and printed that one as well. Continuing on with articulation, he has an ab crunch right there, so he can go from there to there, which is just enough. He can rotate at the waist. Now, he does not go 360 at the waist. There is an actual tab that prevents him from going all the way around. So he's only going to go just enough for posability and to prevent these tracks from getting knocked off. The skirts can move up and down on the side and on the front, which is going to allow for articulation at the legs. So now, before we go into all of the articulation, I need to point out some of these screws. So for some of these bigger ball joints, there are these screws that you print, and you can tighten or loosen these depending on how your figure feels, right? So if the joint is too loose, you can tighten the screw. If it's too tight, you can loosen it. Now, I think I may have my thighs a little tight. You might hear this here in just a moment. But the legs are ball jointed at the base, so it can go forward that far, back only that far because this plate in the back does not move. And then you can also go in and out as far as that plate is going to allow you. You can rotate at the thigh, and then you have a bend at the knee, more than a 90 at the knee itself. The ankle plates can move up and down to accommodate for a ball joint at the ankle. The ankles can rock forward and backwards and side to side. So again, the posability with this guy is really, really nice. Now, he also has, of course, the sword. Now, this is the second revision of the sword. With the file, you get 2 swords. So the original sword was a little shorter. This is his, what was this called in Japan? It was called the Heaven Sword. And this is the piece that would come out, like the handle right here, the hilt. He would pull this out of his chest, the handle would come down, and then the sword would just come up from his chest. So this is actually meant to be the chest piece. However, in the show, once he did that, the chest still remained red, even though this section was not in there. So I just opt to have them both on there just because I like the way the chest looks. But there is a shorter sword. This is the second version of the sword, which is longer. You get all of these, so you can pick and choose what you want to print. I chose to give him the longer sword. So yeah, just a quick look at this figure. Because he's absolutely stunning, and this is the first. I've been printing like little things, like little one pieces, replacement parts for Transformers and little static figures for my daughters, and like little mini Stay Puffs to go with my Ghostbuster stuff. But this is the first like actual articulated toy that I printed. I'm also working on a Mazinger right now. If you hear the fans in the background, that's what's printing right now. So because it's my first one, I really kind of wanted to show it off because I absolutely adore the way this came out. Again, this file is free from ToyMakr3D. I'll put a link down in the description. What did you think of this figure? Let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.